we kind of do this ostrich thing, you know, when we're under stress. We kind of go off into our brain, like the brain is going to save us somehow, or maybe, I think sometimes the brain is mad at us and doesn't want to be part of the situation. I saw that once myself when I lost my keys one morning. 25 years of meditation, yes, lost my keys. And of course, I was late, because you never lose your keys when you got plenty of time. You lose your keys when you're late, and then immediately start freaking out. I started spinning. I started like getting mad at myself. And I was drinking a fair bit at that period because I found it a really productive way to get over a breakup. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't help. It's sort of a way to escape the emotional pain by covering it up with the alcohol, and then your life starts getting fuzzy and weird and falling apart, and then you lose your keys and you're late for a very important appointment. And the brain, instead of does the brain go, let's connect mind and body and simply walk through the steps? No. You start spinning. Oh yeah, you were drinking last night. You start becoming dad, mom, everybody's yelling at you. There's a whole chorus of angels condemning you, you know. The situation becomes crazier and crazier. And the interesting thing is not only are you beating yourself up, we're beating ourselves up at that point, but we're also not doing anything to find the keys. In fact, maybe doing the worst thing. Not coming back to mind and body. Because I did have the meditation training, I remembered. And that is the way it is. You do remember and you do come back. And I was like, you know, okay, it's not going to help. Just relax. Come back. And the interesting thing is when we come back in touch with the only person that can help us, ever, which is you. The very person you're beating up, you're refusing to join, the very person you're blaming, is the very person that is really the only person there for you. You were there when you were born, and you'll be there at the end. And there won't be anybody else really in between a lot. We'll have lots of friends, Facebook people. That's such a beautiful world, right? You could just control your world. You could just defriend people. Manage your world that way. But we're all alone, ultimately. And ultimately, we really only have ourselves. And how many of us in this room don't... Okay, raise your hands. How many of us in this room really like ourselves? And if you haven't really looked at the question or really looked at it, then chances are it's something to investigate. Oh yeah, we pamper ourselves. We frequently overindulge ourselves. My teacher, Sakyamipam Rinpoche, whose work I'm very impressed with and has very much influenced my entire life and is going to be this source work for what I want to talk about tonight. He likes to say our minds hold us hostage. We're so intimidated by our brains that we wake up in the morning and immediately just start doing whatever it wants. You know, okay, here's your coffee. Here's your donut, don't get in a bad mood. All right, we'll go take a walk. All right, we'll have a drink, Okay, just shh, calm down. Constantly medicating ourselves, right? Constantly screaming out for that bottle. And a lot of this is behavior. We talked about reptilian mind. Some of this is very early age mind. A lot of learned behavior when we were 2. Just started screaming and somebody stuck a nipple in our mouth. And that's a beautiful, beautiful exchange. If it could stay that way, that would be wonderful. But we're actually only have that nipple to gain the sustenance to maybe do greater things in our lives. But a lot of us are still screaming for that bottle, you know? Bars are full of them. You might get your bottle one shot at a time, but still. It's this misplaced idea of nurturing, along with the misplaced idea of discipline. That is what I was talking about when we yell at ourselves. So interestingly enough, we have these two bipolar sort of tendencies. On one hand, we're really hard on ourselves. On another hand, we freak ourselves out so much that we're too soft on ourselves. Am I being too general? I mean, do people have this experience of sometimes just being really hard on yourself, but then you can't really stick to a diet or stick to your plan? But yet you're always mad at yourself. At some point, something's got to give. Not letting go of the tension in the subway, not letting go of the little body bruises we give ourselves during the day when people demean us or we feel insulted or hurt. Lost in our own mind a lot. Sort of stuck in this bipolarity between beating ourselves up and being too hard on ourselves and then indulging ourselves and trying not to see the pain or feel the pain. At some point, something's got to give. And I think that's reasonable. We just shut up shop. Or shut down shop. And we go into this sort of dark night of the soul, if you will. Depression. That's what I want to talk about tonight.